Hi guys, I hope you're good since last video. So this time we're gonna see the post-bot scam. So you know about those bots? Yes. I'm very surprised because those videos are unlisted. That means they can run ads using Google Ads. And look at this. We have 53 subscribers. They have 1,500 subs, which is amazing. And a disclaimer, a proper one. So when you arrive in this video, you see a big channel, amazing comments. You can see here an example. I believe I can write a book, How to Become a Millionaire. I got 5 times more I've invested, and so on. Yeah, but they got. I have some different smart contracts. I'm just gonna take one of those, and we're gonna analyze. So let's smart analyze those contracts. And how we're gonna do that? We're gonna use our new friend. It's been a year that this friend is helping developers. So GPT-4, and we're gonna start prompting. I have found a smart contract which is pretending to be helping people earn some money by doing arbitrage. So using Uniswap smart contract, Uniswap contract, DEX. The issue is that I have checked the contract. So the smart contract, they're using Solidity, which is the language to make those Ethereum smart contracts. And I found that there is. So I'll be reading my prompts, so you can see also how to do those prompt engineering stuff. I don't believe in prompt engineering. I don't believe it exists. So just NLP, so natural language processing. So just speak as usual, and you refine your prompts. So that there is part of the code that seems like to be building a wallet address. So looking through the code, I've seen that there is a logic, and it's a bit complicated in some places, but it looks like it's just trying to build up an address, a wallet address, where the funds are going to be sent. So while you believe it's your own fund, your own income, but you might be running that robot for them and sending them your funds. So can you check the contract and tell me what's critical and what you think about it? It looks like a fraud. So I just put in quotes and I just pass the contract. And now we're gonna see what's the answer. So while it's answering, I can just look at the contract. You have some hard-coded numbers. I'm gonna fast forward it a bit. So what I'll be doing, I'll be reading the prompts and I'll just be fast forwarding the outputs. Okay, so we got our first output. So complex and obscure code, doesn't align with typical arbitrage operations. Okay, the code contains function with a complex non-standard implementation like find new contracts, find contracts, load current contracts. There's functions and pattern, identify. So it appears to be performing operations that are not directly related to arbitrage, like manipulating slices, suspicious withdrawal function, particularly concerning. So it's designed to transfer the entire balance of the contract to an address returned by withdrawal profits, which in turn calls pass mempool, which is another function. So you will see there are some weird functions. Okay. So to obfuscate the flow of funds, use mempool. The contract frequently references a mempool, which is a concept in blockchain network referring to a set of unconfirmed transactions. However, the way it's used here, it's unconventional and doesn't align with typical smart contract practices. It seems to be a part of a mechanism for determining where to send funds. Okay, which is not a standard practice and raises red flags. So those contracts, they're actually made for people who don't know anything about coding. They believe everything is easy because they'll be explained how to do. But okay, no real arbitrage logic. So there's no arbitrage logic in this contract. 100% true. The actual functionality doesn't align with typical. You've seen that before. Executing arbitrage opportunities, function that supposedly deal with liquidity on contracts, do not have a clear link to real arbitrage strategies. Hard-coded addresses, the presence of hard-coded addresses like bits, contract address. There's some hard-coded addresses also. Very suspicious. So this is common practice for dynamic arbitrage operations. So there's parts of this contract which look like a normal arbitrage contract, and there are some other parts which, as it says here, it's obscure address passing. So there are some functions doing different weird things, which is unusual and could be part of a mechanism to disguise the destination of fund, lack of transparency. Okay, so red flag. Multiple red flags. In conclusion, so the challenge here that we are trying to do is to use ChatGPT to get the address, because there's a lot of different operations done in the contract. They're a bit complex, but just looking at those, you can tell that it's not normal. And we're going to try to get ChatGPT to find it. I'm going to give you the function that seems to return numbers and their purpose is only that, and I feel, so yes, there are some functions. So you name a function and you straight away put a return, and in the return you put a number. So there are several functions like that, just returning a random number, which is not random at the end. I feel like those numbers are transformed in order to create a wallet address. So I've prepared a notepad with those functions, and I'm just going to be copy and pasting those here. So here is the notepad. Let's go down there here. So I check the contract again, and in my investigation I found Okay, here I check the contract again, and in my investigations found something more. So the function call mempool is one of the functions, which is here, mempool, and there's this X. So this can be to build up an address, because you know the wallet addresses started with 0x. So the X here seems like to be building an address type 0x. So set the code when the call mempool is called. And then here we have another function called pass mempool. And here same, there's some operations which are done through this function, which are not in bytes. So transforming those numbers in bytes, u into 160. So that's for the address, Ethereum address. And it's initialized at 0. And I have this second part. I see that the address, so the returned address, is initialized with a 0. And I believe that when call mempool is used, it uses the X, append it to the 0. Can you check that please? On the logic using the information that I provided you, and check the function to see what address is being created. So read the code, take into consideration also my investigations. So those are the three functions returning numbers. So I just try to put them into hexadecimal. Here, I'm just going to feed ChatGPT with that. So we got something to start with. I don't think so. Yeah, this is not an address. But, I don't think that my concatenation is an address. And then there is transformation occurring. In some functions that I didn't figure out. Can you please analyze the contract again and check my hypothesis? Can you also try to check all functions and follow the logic to reverse engineer it in order to find the address where the funds are sent to. Let's go. So we're gonna fast forward this part. Just let me read a bit. Yes, okay. So the fast forwarding is very useful because I'll get some errors sometimes. So ChatGPT just fails to provide an answer. So I had to repeat several times. Okay. So here, when you figure out the address, did you consider my suggestion about this function and what it does? As it seems like the address is not an Etherscan. So I checked, I got an output that the address is not an Etherscan. And I tried it, and now I'm trying to ask ChatGPT to improve his answer. And you had the issues that it was 38 long instead of 40. So check this function. So I'm providing it with the function to check, and try to see if you can recalculate the resulting address again to see if we can find it on Etherscan. Do not invent anything. I just want you to analyze the whole contract and use the functions that are in the contract. Okay, so let's fast forward this. So you need to iterate and to improve your prompt. But here we can just stop a bit, not uncheck the code. Let's analyze the code. You see here we have this function. We have this X, which is appended. We have comments. So the comments iterating through a mempool. So the comments are completely different from what the function is doing. So they're misleading comments. So let's say you're someone who doesn't understand about coding, you just read the comments and you're like, oh, okay, this is fine, but it's not. We got also those hard-coded numbers, and we got some variables. And here, for example, get mempool, and you can see when we try to find it, it just returns another hard-coded number. So this function is just super weird. So it's going to use the check liquidity function. So it's going to use the number in that check liquidity function. So we can just go and X, the mempool. Okay. I just want you to see what's weird about this contract while I'm regenerating an answer, because I got several issues getting answers, as it's complicated. I don't know if there's many people using GPT at the same time, but yeah. So inside call mempool. Inside call mempool function, there is that's the function which is trying to build up an address, or an address that is going to be transformed. So I just provide it with the part of the code that I want GPT to check, which is equivalent to string memory. And this function also. So I'm just trying to be more precise into what I want and try to break down the answers into smaller ones. Because at the beginning I just told ChatGPT to just analyze everything and come up with an address, and it couldn't make it. It's too complicated. So I'm just trying to break down the logic, and to get ChatGPT return me some answers, and making also the function easier to read by providing the hard-coded numbers like here, and just investigating, seeing what ChatGPT is going to answer. And after from that answer, I'm going to move on to the next function, because there's a logic in how the functions they interact between each other. So I'm just asking, did you consider this calculation? And let's provide more information in different steps. So it's good also when you're prompting ChatGPT to provide steps. So check liquidity is what I want him to check first. I'm trying to solve this part of the code. After here, mempool offset, step 2. Get that result to figure out the value of mempool offset. So let's start with this. Just gonna put a calculation with the number. Trying to make it easy as I can. Perfect. So we replace this function by its returning value. Step 3. So let's go through the codes. Just gonna get those here. That's this function. That's the one that we need to solve in order to be able to find an address. So, and after having done that, I want ChatGPT to reiterate and retry calculating the returned underscore full mempool variable, the result of it, and I provide it with the function again. This is better, yeah. A lot of errors. Okay, so error analyzing. I got a lot of errors analyzing. To proceed correctly, we need more information. Let's fast forward this. So before he was telling me that it needs a function called the mempool to be able to answer. So here is the function mempool with a lowercase m, because there's another one called the same but with it's not lowercase. That is hidden at the end of the contract. With that, now you can proceed. So I provided it with the function. So you see the function returns a string value. I want ChatGPT to figure out what is this string value returned. You see, it's just adding up, concatenating the variables that have been defined on the top of the function at the beginning, and after using this mempool function to get that looking like an address, or that 40 characters that we need, because this is going to be passed in another function after that. So let's fast forward this part. It's good to stop a bit and talk about the details. And now we're gonna, so we're just getting better answers now from ChatGPT. You see the steps, has done the steps. Try those steps again. Now that you have the mempool function. So I keep doing some typos, but ChatGPT understands the way my errors. Could find the function. Mempool is just MEM pool, not MEME pool. All the functions are on the initial contract that I gave you. So I'm just referring to the first input I have done with the whole contract, and see the whole conversation and how you found the Ethereum address. Because as I told you, I got an address, I checked on Etherscan, but the address wasn't, it wasn't a good address. So there were nothing. At least we need to find an address that exists. Okay, so mempool. I did it again, mempool. As you didn't use the mempool function, and I realized that it has found this function, but it didn't use it. So thank you for providing me mempool function, but it didn't use it. I want ChatGPT to use that function, because if it doesn't use it, we won't be able to figure out what are the correct values returned. So that is why the result address wasn't found on Etherscan. Take your time to analyze the whole logic and do it properly. Let's send this. Understood. Let's analyze. And those are the steps. Compute hexadecimals, representation, concatenate, and after compute the literal address. Let's fast forward this part. Okay, we either need to interpret the X character. So now the issue for ChatGPT is to interpret that X character, which is added to the address. So, checking the code, just trying to make it easy. Checking the code of the original smart contract that I sent you at the beginning. If there is a logic where this X come back in another function. To build an Ethereum address. So you see here, that's a good example that shows you that you can't just dump some code into ChatGPT and ask him to do something. You need to know what you're doing. So there's a kind of Linux spirit behind that. So you need to know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, you can get the best from ChatGPT. If you don't know, you just be asking and getting some random answers, and you won't be able to see which answer is right or which part of the answer is right, and how to guide the artificial intelligence behind this to be able to actually get what you want from it. But I've been developing apps using ChatGPT, and it's just amazing how it accelerates the production of code, and especially for the test. So the unit tests, because that's the part I don't really like to do. But yes, let's go back to this. So use your probability power to figure this out before ignoring the X, because ChatGPT has been ignoring the X. As it is a scam contract, just reverse engineer it with your several 10 years of experience of CRUD investigator and fraud detector, and Ethereum address reverse engineer power. So here I'm just So here I got an address, but the address, you see there's a lot of zeros at the end. So it wasn't the right address. There's something missing, and we need to find what's missing. So redo it again. They are still not saved. So it is the wrong address, 100%. Because ChatGPT is being lazy. So it's been just now adding zeros to get the right length. So let's fast forward this answer. Just urgency, let's redo. Let's change this, because it's just been repeating the same. Redo it again. Try to just improve. the way you found the first address. Because the first address you found, it was something looking like a legit Ethereum address. But this one here, you see that it's just, sometimes it happens, it's just lazy. It doesn't want to do all the calculations. And it just fill it with zeros. Same here, I got another address, it didn't work. Try just to improve the way you found the first address. This was the first address by incorporating the use. Okay, so let's fast forward it. So now the answers are more structured because I asked ChatGPT to give me the answers using a table, and in the table to show me every single returned result from calculations in each function. So this is the third time that I asked you that, and you always give me different results. Yeah, because the results should be always the same, but he always give me different results, and there is only one result. As all is hard-coded. Yeah, because we get hard-coded numbers which are just entered into different functions logic, we should be able to find an address. These are hard-coded with functions returning numbers on variables defined directly in numbers. Let's fast forward this part also. Okay. And you see how it's building this address, and I asked him before to use the table, and now he just knows how to format the answers. And you see each variables, we get the result of the variable, so we can see how the function is building up the address. And the full mempool you see at the end, now it has the right numbers of characters. Okay. With a equal to. So there's another function where we want to pass this variable now, and the variable used in that function is underscore a. So with that variable in, let's calculate the results of, let's get the function. That's the one you already know, you've seen it since the beginning. That's not the one we want. That's this one, pass mempool. So the pass mempool function is also, that's the one which is going to give us the address at the end. Just feed it with the address, and now we got something looking like an address. I don't believe that ChatGPT can find the address, but we got, something looking like an address. Is the code logic adding some zeros? No, I don't think so. If yes, tell me where. Maybe it is not the right length because you made some wrong calculations. Because he kept telling me that the length, it's 38 characters when that function needs 40 characters, but okay. but he's been ignoring the beginning of the address, the 0 and the X. So you made some wrong calculation, forgetting to use mempool function for all of those variables. So don't use it. Okay. So I'm just going to provide him here with only the variables that I need, because the other ones are just hard-coded, and those ones are using the mempool function, and I've noticed that he's not using it properly. You see all of these are using mempool, so redo the table accordingly. Maybe your table have wrong results, as I feel like you have used mempool function only on the last calculation. So he's been doing that. He's been using mempool, but only in the last line of the code in the function, while we got some other variables defined above it. So I'll reiterate, asking it another way, just changing my wording. You see here, they're all using a mempool function to figure out the result of mempool 1, mempool 2, and all mempools. See that some other variables are also using mempool, so just use it. Yes, so I had to iterate through, check the code again, several times. I'm just fast forwarding. You see, I'm trying to get an answer, but I get some errors. So it doesn't want to give me the answer. Use this full mempool. So the full, I mean, now I got something from it, but I'm just trying to break down the answer, because he couldn't give me the full answer. So now I need this step in which we're gonna just get the byte code of this one. So the byte representation, and after that, now I can provide it with the parse mempool function. But I'm not gonna name the function, I'm just gonna put the logic, and so I just put the logic which is inside the function here in the prompt. And I'm just going to provide the variable underscore a with the byte representation of it that we got just before. So let's put everything in the right indentation. So at the end, we just need a return address. We need that. Let's get rid of this. Then let's close here. So I address, that's what we want. Just want the I address. And then we need to provide it with the variable. So, what is the value of I address here? At the end. Now underscore A, and we provide the value of underscore A. Where is it? So here we got the bytes, representation. Just put a B on the bytes. The Ethereum address is obtained by truncating the large number to fit into the 160 bits, 20 bits format of Ethereum address. The conversion involves taking the lower 160 bit of the number, which is represented as a 40 character hexadecimal. So let's put this address in. So this is the real address which exists. Okay, so that's good. So you see it's pretty hard to get ChatGPT to figure out the logic in a Solidity contract and to get the address. Well, if the contract has several functions, here you can see there's no transactions. So it seems like that in this contract nobody got scammed. If this address is the right one. But yeah, so if you don't know about coding, it's better to not get involved in those very complicated smart contract stuff. As you can see, people are just using contracts, putting some codes, putting some wrong comments, and under the comments, the code is not doing what the comment is describing. So just be careful with that. I hope that you like this video and see you next time.